Hello, welcome everyone. It is December 18th, and this is our 16th installment of our podcast. And we have a new guest with us today, and a returning guest that hasn't been with us in a while. You go first. Introduce yourself. Your favorite sports teams. Go.
My name is Daniel Testone, Nick's brother. My favorite NFL team would be the Dallas Cowboys. Favorite NBA team would be the Dallas Mavericks. And favorite baseball team would be New York Yankees.
All right, and our returning guest, Nicholas Testone. Last time he was on here, we talked about football, and that's what we're going to talk about today. All right, I have Nick with us, and I also have our buddy Carlos with us, okay? All right,
Okay.
we all got that?
Mm-hmm.
Got that? All right, so today our big... oh, it's not working. All right, there we go. Our big topic is two things. One, Pro Bowl snubs. Two is every team's weakness heading into most likely. We already seen the shape of the top teams in the league, but we're going to talk about every team in the league, starting with the AFC North. We're going to talk about the Ravens first. What is their weakness, and who wants to lead this?
Can I read it?
Go ahead.
I don't think they have any weaknesses. I think, they're pretty good at everything that they do. But one thing is that if, hope to God it doesn't happen, but Lamar Jackson gets hurt, that's going to be their ultimate weakness. I don't think they're going to know what to do because their whole scheme runs out of Lamar Jackson. So,
We all agree.
Yeah. I mean, I think every team has a weakness, but I think, when you have 12 guys get named to the Pro Bowl, I think at that point the only thing that could really hold you back is injuries.
Injuries? We're just banking on injuries as the weakness?
The only other thing I could really say, it looks like the Steelers are going to make the playoffs, and divisional games are always hard.
Mm-hmm.
If they run into each other, I don't think they'll lose to the Steelers, but it is a divisional game, and they did lose to the Browns earlier this year. So that would be my only other argument besides possibility of an injury.
All right. Speaking of the Steelers, one weakness I think they have is injuries. The Ravens, if they had injuries, we're banking on if they did have injuries, that would be their one weakness. I think the Steelers is injuries. I don't think it's anything else, and also having a third-string quarterback, which has related to injuries. So, anyone want to say anything else about the Steelers team? Or?
I think that Big Ben, to me, I think he's kind of losing his,
Well, he's been hurt.
Well, yeah, so, he's been losing his, he's been...
No, I don't know.
I don't know.
I just don't think he's been performing the way he usually does.
He's been hurt. He hasn't performed at all.
Listen, what I'm saying is,
Okay.
even last year, I don't think he was performing to his top tier. And I think, bringing more quarterbacks into that organization right now is a good thing for that organization.
Okay. Well, I think it's just, if Big Ben, even if he did play, he'd be better than Huck Hodges, and Mason Rudolph got clapped
Yeah.
twice.
One with a helmet.
One without
Yeah.
a helmet, one with a helmet.
So my thing real quick,
One with his own helmet.
we're talking about the Steelers. So I'm a big component. I think I think Mike Tomlin deserves Coach of the Year, in my opinion. I think there's a lot of guys that qualify for it. But you look at this team 2 years ago, it was the 3 Bs, right? Big Ben, Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell.
Correct.
One of the best teams in the NFL.
Triple B.
But now all 3 of those guys are gone, and that's a team that's still in a wild card spot. To me, I think they're a sleeper for the playoffs, but I definitely think their weakness would be the fact that they are on a third-string quarterback.
All right. The Browns. I think there's a lot here.
Uh-huh.
I don't know where to start, really.
I'll start real quick. So I've said it since the Browns started. I think if you put any team in that Browns situation, I think they all would have flopped. I think that team is super talented, and you pretty much have a name at almost every position on that team.
Correct.
But I think the problem is there was so much publicity on this team, and there was just a ceiling for this team.
They weren't ready for it.
They're a playoff team. They're a Super Bowl contender. They're gonna win it all before the preseason.
I saw 8-8, and it's looking true.
I'm like, yeah, the Browns are gonna do good. Clearly, they didn't. Personally, I think Baker Mayfield's a bad fit for that team.
Mm-hmm.
I think Odell is a bad fit for that team. I think both of those guys are very egotistical.
And fucking Antonio Brown just doesn't fucking play.
Well, that has nothing to do with the Browns.
Relevant.
But yeah, I think this team just has too much talent, and I think it's gotten to them.
I think one of the most difficult things for them is communication. Like he said, there's so much, talent on that team that they don't think they need to speak about things.
You put Beagles?
Yeah. Keep going.
It's a Beagles. Nope. Bengals.
All right, keep going. So I think
Bengals. Bengals. You're still
I
speaking
think
wrong.
that I think
it's-
Odell Beckham with this team didn't fit, and of course having a Freddie Kitchens coach team is doesn't really help either.
Yeah.
I think that's their one weakness is coaching staff, and of course Hugh Jackson would have never been better. But
I don't mind Freddie Kitchens. Me personally, you always got to give a coach a second year, and it looks like they are going to be giving Freddie Kitchens a second year from what it seems. So we'll see. We'll see if how this Brown teams comes out in the offseason. With the possibility, it seems like Odell's going to get traded. So it'll be interesting to see what happens to this Brown team.
Absolutely.
all right, and the Bengals,
Bagels.
Bungles, however you want to say it, Beagles,
So we'll
the
go.
pecans.
The Bengals here.
They are gone.
Well, let's start with the obvious.
Forget
AJ Green was
Joe Burrow.
out the whole year.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest number one.
I think also Andy Dalton got hurt too.
Andy Dalton did get hurt. I don't think Andy Dalton's a bad quarterback. I think he's mediocre. I don't think he's anything special, but he was a guy that at one point almost got them, or did get them to the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. But they did start like 7-0 that year, and
Yep.
they finished 1 in whatever.
Something like that.
They won like 9 games that year, 10 games.
It's the Bengals is a weird team, right? Because you have all these stars on offense. You have Joe Mixon, who's a great running back.
Mm-hmm.
You have Tyler Boyd, who's emerged into a great wide receiver. Obviously, again, they didn't have AJ Green.
Decent.
You have a Tyler Eifert, who's probably one of the better
better
all-around tight ends. You have Geno Atkins on the defensive side. So
Still producing, but not.
it is
couple
kind
years
of a
ago.
weird fit as to like, okay, what's their biggest weakness? So I'm probably going to go ahead and say management here.
Oh yeah.
Because if you look at that Bengals team, who's really been an addition besides Tyler Boyd? It's been
John Ross.
consistent. John Ross has been hurt all year too, though.
I know, but when he plays, he at least produces.
That's true.
It could be one of those worst things where you could call him a bust because he was a lotto pick. Like if we're talking to me, lotto pick, top 14.
Right.
But it's because he broke the record, the 40-yard dash record, and it's like not like when he plays he doesn't produce. And he, of course, he has his bad games, but when he plays like really well, he's on his stuff. He's a decent receiver, and he's also got that speed that it's unmatched foresight. But next division, we're going to AFC West. What do you got to say about the Chiefs, Danny?
The Chiefs are an all-around good team in my opinion. They don't have too much to say. Patty Mahomes, I think without Mahomes, I don't think they're a necessarily great team. I think Patty Mahomes definitely puts a little bit of a backpack on during some games and others maybe not. But I think without Patty Mahomes in general, I think they're definitely a worse team.
I think
feel like that's true.
I feel like their defense is the weakness of this team. Their rush defense, of course, it's been there when they had shown it before that they have a decent run game or run stopper, but Tyrann Mathieu on that defense is every week seems to get better, and I just think that the defense could be a little bit weaker. But of course, when you talk about the Chiefs, they're making the playoffs, and when you think of playoffs, Andy Reid doesn't really succeed well. And that's the one thing I think is that when they get to the playoffs, it may or may not be game management, but they can always change. I'm not saying it's going to be like history like it was, but last year it really was no one's fault. They just lost the coin toss because of the rule, and you can't blame them, and because it's a 50-50 chance of winning that game or getting the ball first and force they win that game. So I just think that could be game management, but as of right now, I think it's their defense.
Yeah, I'm still a big defensive component for the Chiefs. This is potentially number 2, right now number 3 seed in the AFC.
Mm-hmm.
Yet they have the 18th ranked defense, so you're not even in the top half of the league.
Yep.
And I think if you take away Tyrann Mathieu, who's my favorite player in the league, that's not even a top 20 defense. Maybe even not even top 25.
Okay.
I don't know stats wise how accurate that would be. I'd have to look.
That's probably a sustainable guess.
Yeah, last year, yes, they were able to bring it to overtime. but with
It's a
no
coin
defense
toss.
on that final
Oh, yeah.
drive. I mean, granted, you're right, it is a coin toss and it's 50-50. But I think some of these elite, more talented defenses, like, say, maybe the Patriots defense or the Ravens defense, I think
Or the
if you have a
Bills.
defense like that,
Yeah.
I think you might have a better shot at winning those overtime games.
All right. Now, I know we've talked about Phillip Rivers before, Nick, on our football podcast prior. What do you think about the Chargers, and what's their one big weakness?
I mean, I don't really watch the Chargers that much to, say anything about them. But they were a playoff contender last year. They made the playoffs. Unfortunately, they lost to Patriots, They are a good team, but for some reason this year they just didn't
They
connect
flopped.
well.
I think injuries does have to say.
Phillip Rivers
But,
was
of
hurt,
course,
and-
I don't think they should be in Los Angeles. This has nothing to do with the team, though.
yeah.
But playing 16 away games is tough. Because if you look at their home games, they get out-fanned. I don't
Yeah.
even know if that's a proper term or verb. But a lot of teams from the away teams show up, especially like and being in the West. You know, a lot of Oakland fans show up. A lot of Chiefs fans show up. But Chiefs fans are going to show up anywhere. It's pretty tough to play in their stadium, granted, and not in your own stadium. But I feel like playing, those many road games is going to do a toll on your team mentally more than
Mhm.
physically. Of course, a little injuries. Melvin Gordon's hold out didn't really help either. And Keenan Allen kind of wasn't the greatest till this last kind of stretch of games.
Exactly. Yeah.
And Phillip Rivers, I guess his time should be up. Granted, they are in their mock draft is Herbert from Oregon.
Yep.
And I think that they should go and sign Teddy Bridgewater. It's my opinion. But
I
that
want to be a
that-
bad.
I don't think it's a bad fit, but I think their coach is good. Their defense is there. It's just injuries, and I think they have to get out of LA and go back to San Diego.
So for me, I think it's 100% Phillip Rivers. And what I mean by that is it's not his talent, it's his leadership, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the quarterback's supposed to be the guy that gets your team motivated, that brings your team together. But
Mhm.
Phillip Rivers this year has thrown numerous overthrown passes.
Yes, that Raiders game was atrocious.
And when it comes down to that, he's not taking the blame on that. He's blaming the receivers. Now, I don't know the plays. I don't know
what's going through
what's
that?
he's supposed to be running, this and that. But what I see is a guy that can't motivate his team, and I see a team that doesn't want to play for that quarterback. So
Okay.
I think Phillip Rivers is just toxic right now. I think he still has the talent to be a starter, but I do agree. I think his time in Los Angeles is definitely up.
As well as the teams. That's just my opinion. All right, Broncos, they're just not that good. I think we could just blatantly end it there. Am I wrong?
Drew Lock is going to be a great quarterback.
I do think that the Giants should have taken him with their second first-round pick.
Drew Lock is going to be a good quarterback.
I think
From the 2 games I've seen him play and what I saw in the preseason, I think Drew Lock is going to
there's definitely some talent there.
take
but
over
I
that
just
team.
think-
And Drew Lock and Cortland Sutton is going to be amazing to watch next year. Because Cortland Sutton has emerged so much, and he kind of got snubbed from the Pro Bowl, but not really. But
We'll talk about that later.
yeah,
Raiders, I think I kind of jinxed them. I said they were making the playoffs, and then they get scraped by the Jets. It is what it is in those situations. I'm not a Raiders fan, so I could be a little upset, but
Sorry,
it was a dark horse. What are you doing? It could be a dark horse, but I think with this Raiders team is inconsistency. But it is year 2 of 10 of John Gruden. I think he's done a phenomenal job since last year with training away Cooper, who was a Pro Bowler last year, Khalil Mack, who's Khalil Mack, period. I think David Carr or
Didn't
Derek
they-
Carr is staying there for a
Didn't they
little bit.
trade Jared Cook too?
Yeah.
No, he walked in free.
oh, he did
He
walk.
did?
He did walk. But
Granted, it's still a piece that you lost.
But,
Yep.
Josh Jacobs drafting
I
very
mean,
well for this team.
so, yeah, I agree with you. I think it's the defense. I don't really think they have a defense anymore.
They need an identity on defense.
I think, but I'm with you. So, everybody at first, John Gruden was like, "Oh my God, what are you doing? You just traded Khalil Mack," but he got himself the draft picks he wanted. He got a stud running back in Josh Jacobs, like you said.
And they did pick up a corner last year who's a hard hitter.
Yep,
So.
he got a stud tight end in Darren Waller.
Mm-hmm.
Derek Carr is having a career year,
Yep.
essentially.
Before he broke his leg, I think that Raiders team was supposed to go to a AFC Championship game before he broke his leg.
Agreed.
Granted, I like Derek Carr. I like what he brings,
Mhm.
and I like Raider Nation, brother.
Yeah.
But
I'm excited. I'm in
and
Vegas.
they're moving to Las
I'm in
Vegas.
Vegas.
So
I'm excited to go see him play next year. But I'm really excited to see kind of what John Gruden does with this team.
Yeah, I think they're on the uprise, and hopefully they are
I think
like
they.
10-6.
I definitely think they have playoff potential, if not in the years to come, an AFC Championship.
Right. Now, the AFC South, which I think every year we watch week 13, and they're literally the same record, all of them, other than, of course, like the Jags, maybe. But that, But first, the Texans, too inconsistent. We all
I'm
can
going to say inconsistency in defense.
defense does kill them.
I agree with you.
But I think inconsistency is just as a whole.
You're right, you're right,
Like
you're right.
Deshaun Watson may go off for 4 touchdowns, and then next game he throws 3 picks and fumbles.
I don't think it's Deshaun Watson's problem, though. I mean,
No.
let's be real.
Management.
Deshaun Watson is probably a top 5 special quarterback to watch.
Speaking of management, I think Bill Bryan's time is done. But
do
I
too.
also found out that they don't actually have like a physical owner still.
Yep.
So like, who
That
the
doesn't-
hell fires him?
Nobody. He just sits there.
Exactly. Like, who
That's
the
part
hell
of the
even
problem,
hires
too.
him? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like the Hornets with the
'Cause
NBA.
he's
The
got-
reason
he's
why
got-
they vetoed the Chris Paul trade was because the NBA owned him.
He's got nothing hanging over his head to fucking be like, oh yeah, if you don't do this,
Yeah, I mean,
meet this standard.
He's made the playoffs consistently, but if you look at the roster, they should have been at a championship game already. Granted, it's only year 3 of Deshaun Watson,
Yeah, that Texans roster is...
and trading Jay on
That
Crowley.
offense is so insane, and you can make the case that they have a running back problem, which they do. But
I think
Yeah,
picking
but
up
Lamar
Duke
Miller's
Johnson
hurt.
wasn't. I think Duke Johnson's pickup wasn't that bad.
no, but I mean,
It's
when you
not
look at other
ideal.
guys, maybe they could have gotten. I mean, granted, I don't know who I would have taken, but I mean, LaShawn McCoy was a free agent at one point this season.
Yeah, the Chiefs went up and grabbed that.
The Chiefs
right
went up
away,
and grabbed him real quick.
which was a smart pickup on them because
Um,
Kareem Hunt dipped.
When Lamar Miller is healthy next year, I think again it'll be cool to watch. But you also have to raise the question of, do you move on from Lamar Miller and do you draft a running back?
I think I've said this many times, and Nick can advocate for me. When you have a roster with this talent for so many years, fire the coach, and if the coach doesn't work, then you look at
Well,
the roster.
I still agree. The coach, Bill O'Brien, is done. But
Like I said with Brett Brown all the time. You have the same damn roster
Yep.
for the
I mean,
3 years.
again,
and the same
it's like the
result.
Cowboys.
I'd love to see Ron Rivera come to the Giants, but if Ron Rivera went to the Texans, I think
Ooh.
that team
Ooh.
would be insane.
Especially
I
with
really
J.J.
do.
Watt.
Well, J.J. Watt's never going to play a full season again, so.
Yeah, they have the same problem as the Cowboys.
Speaking of a firing, the Jags
Yep.
fired Tom Coughlin today. I just
Come
think,
home, Tom!
I just think that offensively this team isn't that great outside of quarterback issue and Leonard Fournette. And their wide receivers are mediocre. Westbrook, Lee,
Yep.
they're all right talent. Their defense, though, was so good to root for. Calais Campbell's like 6'8" and a defensive tackle. That is insane.
Unfortunately,
And they have
with
Josh
yeah.
Allen,
with this
guy from Kentucky.
Jaguars team, I don't think it's going to be together in 2 years. I think Calais Campbell is going to be gone.
He's going to want a lot
And I
of
think A.J. Boyu is going to be gone.
money. Ooh.
And I think A.J. Boyu is very underappreciated
Mhm.
because he was in the shadow of Jalen Ramsey.
Mhm.
Personally, I always thought A.J. Boyu was better than Jalen Ramsey,
Well, I think
but
now we're starting
stats
to
don't
see
say
it.
that. So,
We'll see in the offseason who gets more money.
but regardless, I agree that offense isn't anything special. I think
They don't
Leonard
have an
Fournette
identity.
is such a talented running back,
He was my.
but because of that offense, he doesn't get the credit he
He still
deserves.
gets he still gets great games,
But-
and he also has really bad games.
It also it's going to be really interesting to see what do you do now that you paid Nick Foles $45 million or $42 million, whatever it was,
most of it guaranteed.
and you just benched him with
Gardner Minshew, who is
Minshew magic.
who I think is a great story, but it's like Linsanity. I don't see it last.
I
very
agree. I
long.
think he's just a hype man.
All right. Well, you want to talk about your boy Ryan Tannehill? Carlos, ex-Dolphin fan. I don't think he wants to say it because he will scream on top of his lungs if he said it.
Well,
Titans are doing very well. Ryan Tannehill. What do you got to say about him?
he was good in the Dolphins.
And then
We traded him, and fucking look what happened.
I agree.
I think
I was
I think he just needed a
Honestly-
new base around him.
But honestly, I honestly thought he was going to do better getting traded over to the Titans. And
I think that finding another job outside of Miami was great for him. I don't think he was treated very fair in Miami.
God no, he was very underappreciated.
Yes, and I think that the
Injuries
one
was a
thing
big
they
thing,
didn't
too.
do was start him sooner.
Well,
of
not-
course, you
not
can
even
never
that.
see it coming.
so
That was a huge
that's what I
thing.
want to say. I want to give a props to the Titans management. So when Marcus Mariota was benched, I want to say it was week 4. He was benched. It was either week 4 or week 5. Going into that game, he had 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He's having a fairly good year to start. I think maybe he was 2-2, but he threw 2 interceptions and they pulled it right away. and Ryan Tannehill comes in,
That's like
and that team is tied for their division.
They should have
I
started.
think they're
It's
one
like-
game back now.
You can look at that and like especially with Marius Mariota and Jameis Winston. They
Right.
both have the very same problem of one gets hurt and one throws picks a lot. And the Titans, I think they're in this position every year where they are competing and they get bounced in the wild card round. Or
I think
they're
you're
just
right.
not that good.
I've also always said Ryan Tannehill had that potential. But
He
Miami
still does. He still
Miami
does.
is a
He's
rough
showing it right
organization.
now.
Has
Yeah.
been for the last 10,
Yep.
15 years.
Miami is just not a
yes,
good place to be.
Tannehill
right
is
now,
showing
football-wise.
what he can be.
Well, he should have been in Miami 2 years
And
ago.
He's having a great year. He has, I think it was 2 weeks ago, he threw his first interception since week 9. So that's
And it was against
6
the
weeks.
Texans, granted,
And
but
the interception he did throw, it was off a tip pass from a lineman. Like, there's nothing you can do on that.
you could
I mean,
just-
yeah, you can say, oh, I can make a better throw. But if a guy jumps up and hits your ball, there's nothing you're doing to stop that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm excited for this Titans team. I think they have one of the most slept-on defenses in the league.
I think they're
I think-
well coached. They seem to
Yeah,
be.
I think Mike Warble is his name, I believe, the head coach. Yeah, I think he's doing a great job, and he's also one of my Coach
Derrick
of the Year
Henry's
candidates.
also a freak.
And
Yeah,
Derrick
that
He
Henry's
seems
a Pro Bowler for a reason, but we'll get to that.
Is it me or every year this Titans team is 9-5 by the end of the season?
The Titans team is normally, yeah.
Am I wrong?
they're another team that's
And
inconsistent
Derrick
as
Henry is
well.
also averaging like 200 yards rushing a game.
I
at the
think
end of the
I
season
also
each
think
year.
our buddy Tyler, who's on here often, is a big advocate for Derrick Henry. At the beginning of the year, I told him he was crazy for thinking Derrick Henry was going to have a big year. So I was wrong on that one.
It's all good.
Derrick Henry proves me wrong every year.
Speaking
One
of
of these years, I'll learn.
Speaking of proving people wrong, the Colts, Andrew Luck retired. They thought they were going to be bad from the start.
Yep.
Granted, they started good, and they're a little bit on the little shaky side toward the end of the season.
Yeah.
But they're also like if teams lose in their division and they manage to win, it's going to be interesting. I don't think they're making the playoffs, but 1 year of Jacoby Brissett, and then 1 summer of Jacoby Brissett coming up. I think they should be good, but the one thing is, I just think a new quarterback. That was like that.
So
Like, it's different from when Andrew Luck retires in the offseason. But
Yeah,
when it's like
but-
that, I mean, of course you can kind of see it coming, but you kind of can't.
I mean, I don't think anybody saw it coming. Really, like it was after preseason game that he wasn't playing,
Yeah.
and it was kind of out of nowhere.
And then all of a sudden
I
you have
think-
to implement Jacoby Brissett in an offense.
I
like
think
that.
Jacoby Brissett is a franchise quarterback, but I don't think he's an all-star quarterback.
Yeah.
I think he'll get you the job done, but he's not going to do it in any fancy way, and he needs pieces around him to get the job done.
Absolutely.
And again, T.Y. Hilton was hurt the last couple weeks.
that
That's a
doesn't
part
help.
of it.
That doesn't help.
You know, when your number one guy is out.
Marvin Mack.
Eric Ebron got hurt. He was kind of playing hurt all season. Now he's on IR. So this Colts team next year, Marlon Mack got hurt. So we could make the injury case
And
here.
their defense isn't that bad.
Their
Vin-
defense isn't bad.
And
You're right.
Vinatieri also kind of wasn't great
Vinatieri
this
wasn't
year.
great to start, and he's going through some stuff. So I think I think the head coach is right. I think he's got his job down. Frank Reich, I think he's a good head coach. I think he knows what he's doing. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what really happens to this Colts team. But I think the division they're in is perfect for their division because, like you said, they're still right in it.
Everyone's competitive. Everyone's 8-8,
Yeah.
or 10-6, or 9.
So,
All right. So I think the next 2 divisions, the both AFC and NFC East, we can slightly breeze over. Other than like maybe I think we could kind of breeze over this. I think we're all gonna say the same things. The Pats, they're terrible against actual competition.
I
Can you
think
say
their
that?
offense is getting kind of sloppy now.
Oh well, yeah.
well, let's be real. Their
It-
offense sucks.
Absolutely.
It's been sloppy ever since Gronk left.
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
this year.
Yes.
It
At the
this
beginning
year
of the season,
connections.
they were doing all right. Now,
'Cause their
towards the end of the
defense was
season,
stopping
Well, no.
everyone.
If you really think about it, who was Tom throwing to the whole time when they had Gronk?
and now
It
Julian
was Gronk.
Edelman, he's getting
Yeah,
doubled by
yeah.
every single person that's.
Okay, but there's nothing to
because
offense.
And then
Gordon's
there's
out
all
there.
receivers.
Brown left. Well,
You want
cut
here's
down.
here's my honest take on the
Okay.
Patriots, and I've kind of been saying this since they got rid of Josh Gordon. 1, I don't think they ever should have got rid of Josh Gordon. However,
Correct.
we all know what happened, so it was probably going to happen there too.
Yep.
However, 2, the Patriots do not have a deep threat, and that is their problem. Brady has nobody to just gung-ho the ball down the field to.
Granted, he has the arm.
And
He definitely can, but he just
he-
doesn't have that one player.
Nikhil Harry's a great rookie wide receiver.
You gotta let
He's got
touchdowns
the
off.
speed you want, but he doesn't have the deep threat body.
Yet. I don't think he's there yet.
I don't think he ever will be.
I,
I think he's a good mediocre wide receiver.
I think that he's going to come around because
Eventually.
again,
Immediately.
Julian Edelman is that number 1 receiver on that team.
well, of course.
Everybody thinks he's a number 2, or
I don't know anybody that thinks he's number
He's
2.
number 2 on a championship team.
Well, yeah.
I think never mind. He's the number one receiver, but he gets doubled every game.
Well,
And
when you got
then
no one else to
we
touch
don't
him.
have. Sanu's not doing jack shit for us.
I'm just saying,
Philip Dorsett hasn't been.
when you
doing
guys
anything.
got Sanu, I said he was trash. Everybody
Alright.
called
me wrong.
I was kind of excited because I knew. what he could do
Sanu
with
hasn't
Falcons.
done anything. I think he's got one touchdown since he's been with the
All right,
Patriots.
before we get too deep in the Patriots roster here, what about the Bills? I think their one weakness is they're not on national TV at all.
I think, you want my honest opinion?
Yes,
I think the Bills' weakness is that they're in a division with the Patriots.
that's fair enough.
I could say that.
I
about
think,
Yeah.
to me, if you put the Bills in any other division, I mean, sure, you got the division with the Saints, the division with the Seahawks and 49ers is very
yes
competitive.
and no.
But when you play Tom Brady twice a
I
year,
think if they're in the AFC South, they're winning that division.
when you play Tom Brady twice a year, that's a hard thing to do.
But
They can always compete, but a
But-
loss is a loss.
Exactly. They
They
won. They lost 16-10. They
They
play
competed
in
with
2
them.
weeks or this week for the division.
Yeah, essentially.
If they win that, that's amazing because that'll be the first time in the Brady era that the Pats haven't won a division, if I recall. There may be 1 year where they didn't, and I think that might have been the year Brady maybe got hurt.
I don't know,
but-
it's a bold statement.
Once Brady leaves, that's the Bills division. And I don't think
Alright.
anybody can convince me
So
otherwise.
another team that looked like they were supposed to be good this year until their quarterback got sick and died, but came back and was better and then died again, and then came back and did okay, and then they played the Raiders. Jets is what I'm talking about here. If you guys didn't get the hint.
Yeah.
I just think that the one thing was that the quarterback did die.
For me,
I think that they're just not there yet, but they have the pieces, and Adam Gase needs to get out of there before he gets killed.
so for me, I don't think it's Adam Gase. Hold on. I don't think it's the players. I think it's management. Here's why.
Okay.
It is the whole situation that happened with Jamal Adams. Jamal Adams sat down with the Jets management. They looked him in the eyes, said, "We do not want to trade you. We want to keep you."
And then
And then as soon as he left that room,
called.
they were calling for offers on Jamal Adams. Just like they were doing for Le'Veon Bell. They spent all this money on Le'Veon Bell, and Adam Gase didn't want to spend the money on Le'Veon Bell, but they did.
Yep.
And Le'Veon Bell, let's be real, has been shit this year.
He's not
He's-
been Le'Veon Bell status, but I think he's been holding his own.
I don't think he has.
I don't think he's got enough touches either.
You
But when you have a
can't.
young quarterback, you can't.
It's not
really
even
do
about having young passes. When you're down 30 points every game, you're not going to give it to your running back.
that. Yeah, I guess.
You know what I mean?
You
And
got a point there.
I'm not knocking Le'Veon's talent, but I think that Steelers O-line had about 75% of what had to do with Le'Veon's stats.
I think it all starts with up top, bottom.
Agreed, management.
And management's up top, and then it affects the bottom. But I do think Adam Gase isn't the guy in New York.
Agreed.
And of
I don't
course,
think
I don't think he's a bad coach,
I
that
think he's a
bad.
coach.
But he knows more about the game than I do. But
Yeah,
that
I mean,
doesn't say much because I don't really pay attention.
I think he's a bad coach, but I think there's worse options.
I
and
think
there's clearly
that he
better
should
options.
be a head coach. I think he
But-
should be a coordinator or a scout.
But again, to me, you don't fire a coach after the first year. That's
And
just,
it
me.
just happened.
and it happens. And you're right. And some coaches never get the chance to prove themselves, and they end up going other places and doing good.
All right.
But-
so
Yeah.
to the NFC East, I'm gonna let Danny take this over.
Oh, we didn't talk about the Dolphins.
I don't think we need to.
I do. You want my biggest complaint about the Dolphins?
Gary, you guys,
No.
No,
I'll tell you what the
I
fucking
purposely
biggest
just skipped
fucking
the
deal
Dolphins
is.
and make you guys react.
It's
So
fucking-
he's a Dolphins fan. So let's hear Carlos out.
It's fucking. It's somewhat of our offense, mainly defense and management. We get rid of all our good players. If they don't do good in one season, we say fuck them, get rid of them. We get rid of them, and we try taking somebody from the colleges, and they don't perform correctly.
So
Yeah, I know what you meant.
Yeah, but
to me, the Dolphins mistake number 1: getting rid of Minka Fitzpatrick.
Absolutely.
I know you had to make the trade. I get it. You're rebuilding. But that man is
we've
in
been
defensive
rebuilding
player
for
of the year
fucking
talks.
how many years though?
But when
Think
you
about
trade
it.
him
I know.
and then win games, it's kind of like
I know.
what the hell are you doing?
Number 2 mistake: taking Aqib Talib's contract.
Okay.
Aqib Talib is a great player,
Mm-hmm.
but let's be real, he's washed up.
Yep.
He's old,
He shouldn't have
and you
been on
just
the
took on
Dolphins.
all that money that you
I
have
think
to
it's
pay
an
for now.
NBA. I think it's an NBA trade.
Yeah.
You trade a star or like a pick,
Mhm.
and you take a bad contract.
Number 3:
That's what the Nets did with D'Lo.
you went out, you traded for Josh Rosen, and you haven't even let him start. You
One
have
game.
You think he started one game, and I get it.
I
He didn't
was-
do that bad.
And I was even
But
talking to Elliot.
If
about
you
it.
didn't believe in Josh Rosen to
Why
begin
even
with,
bother?
why even bother wasting?
I was
that
even
time?
talking about this with Elliot in the mall. I really do believe that they're going to get rid of him.
Yeah. The
Ju- because
only good thing I will give the Dolphins that they did was sign Devontae Parker to a 4-year deal, because that is going to be one of the best receivers to watch. And the only reason he doesn't get talked about is because of where he is.
Yes.
You can mark my words on that.
All
He
right.
will be a Pro Bowler within these next
So-
4 years.
I think
if we just
Danny-
don't fuck him over.
Tank for Tua.
I think Danny's up. He can talk about the NFC East.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk
Do
about the
it.
Cowboys first, or do you want
I'll
to?
talk about the Eagles first.
All right. Well, we all know that no one wants to win this division.
We got this, kid.
We completely,
Let's talk about the NFC East,
we,
kid.
we completely understand that
Just-
no one wants to win this division, and that no one wants to get bounced first round in the playoffs. But go ahead,
Absolutely.
Eagles first.
Eagles, personally, I think Wentz is actually a big problem. I think Wentz is not performing as well as he should be. I think that he is definitely not as good of a quarterback. I don't think he's as good a quarterback as Foles was. I think Foles definitely performed better than Wentz. And whether Wentz was the reason they made it to playoffs, Foles is the one who performed to finish that and take them to a ring. And Wentz just, I don't know, he's not there, and I think there's poor team chemistry as well between everybody on the Eagles.
You want to talk about the Giants?
Well, I want to talk about the Eagles too.
Okay, go
Because, yeah, number one, Wentz is trash. I don't care what anybody says.
Jesus Christ.
You gave this man numerous amounts of dollars when he hasn't even played a full season for you. That still blows my mind. It's like, hey, you haven't really done anything for us, but here's $50 million. Congratulations. 2, I get why you get rid of Nick Foles. You banked on him, right? You're like, man, this guy's hot. Let's get rid of him, and now he's getting benched. I think that was a good move, personally.
Save money.
But I think the Eagles have no running back.
no receivers.
Miles Sanders is finally stepping up. However, he should have been doing this all game, and that falls on coaching, right? 2, Alshon Jeffrey's pretty much been hurt all year. Who's that?
That's Ross. Stop. Don't answer.
Alshon Jeffrey's been pretty much hurt all year. You have J.C. Arrega-Whiteside, who's also been hurt, but he's your rookie wide receiver. You have all these rookie wide receivers that are working with Wentz right now that have no chemistry. Personally, whoever wins Eagles-Cowboys is coming out of that division.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about the Cowboys, but I'm not...
What the hell was that?
Oh.
my
got scared.
volume was up. I didn't know.
You have to throw it. All right. Sorry about that. That's definitely getting clipped, by the way, and making a TikTok. But
I'm just gonna take a few moments.
Second, so, I lost my train of thought.
well, we can skip and go back to the Go right to the Cowboys.
Oh, do we know who's home for Eagles Cowboys? Do we know who the home team is?
Eagles.
Is it Eagles?
I'm not sure.
Because whatever team is home is winning that game.
I disagree.
That's it. I don't, and I know you're a Cowboys fan, and I know that's why you're saying it.
I know that's biased, but I strongly disagree.
Okay, so let's move on to the Redskins.
Okay.
Can we move on to the Redskins?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
You guys can do whatever.
Number 2, Dwayne Haskins
Ass.
is trash.
Ass.
Beam me up, Scotty.
Everybody, and I mean everybody, laughed in the face of the Giants when they passed on Dwayne Haskins.
Mm-hmm.
However, that is going to come back to be one of the best decisions of our career
I think
as a team.
that management is the big problem with the Redskins. It's a terrible ran organization.
I agree, and I've been saying that since RG3 was the quarterback for that Redskins team.
They're just gonna
It
kill
is not a good
Haskins.
system for quarterbacks. Never has been.
Kirk Cousins made it all alive, though.
But Kirk Cousins sucked on Washington. Let's be real.
I think he did all right for his job. McNabb did a good job while he played.
I hate Donovan McNabb, but that's because he's a Redskin.
No, the team he was before that. I think the reason why.
I mean, I don't care. What are you looking at?
New Giants hoodie because he played for the Eagles.
What?
He played for the Eagles, so I'm just looking at your Giants hoodie because
Yeah,
December
that's
game,
Donovan
Christmas.
McNabb. I knew that.
Deshaun Jackson took to
Okay.
the crib.
Let me know when the Patriots were relevant before 2000.
Eric Bledsoe did a good job.
Before 2000. Exactly.
All right, whatever, bro.
Point is, Redskins suck. Always have sucked. Always will suck. Go ahead and talk about your Cowgirls.
All right. The Cowboys. Honestly, I think the number one problem is management. I think that our head coach is obviously not there. He hasn't done anything for us in the past 10-ish years that he's been coaching. I think defense is also a little bit of a problem, but I think our defense is still young. They have a lot to improve.
It's your coach. We get it.
Yeah, 100%. It's Jason Garrett.
Tell me it's not. Like
No,
we
it is.
did. Okay.
And it's Jerry Jones. Let's be real, it's Jerry Jones.
Jerry Jones.
Jerry
too.
Jones
I think
chooses
I
to
think
fire
he holds
Jason
on
Garrett.
to Jason Garrett way too much. I think he needs to let go of him and find somebody better.
Agreed.
All right.
Defense.
You got one thing to say.
Defense.
One thing only. Damn it.
Defense and coaching.
One thing. Damn it.
What's the one
No,
thing?
I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Okay, defense and coaching.
Okay. Which one's worse?
I don't know why Pat Shermer hasn't gotten fired yet,
He will.
considering Ben McAdoo had a playoff appearance and got fired after 2 years. Not sure why Shermer hasn't got fired yet. If he doesn't get fired in this offseason, it's going to be
You gonna do
another
it yourself.
very rough third year. I'll shoot him.
Ooh, that's
Jeez.
That's okay.
Don't.
Cutting it. Cutting it.
We're gonna bleep
I'm
that.
over it.
Beat me up, Scotty.
I'm over it. No, I think we have good. I think we have decent wide receivers.
No, your wide receiver core is good when healthy.
Obviously, Saquon hasn't been what he is this year, but I think that's because the O-line finally got to him.
All right.
And I think the rookie quarterback got to him.
Hmm.
You know, he had really good chemistry with Eli. And that kind of because Eli is a Hall of Fame quarterback. Well, don't care what anybody says.
Faggot.
I think
Daniel better than
Hall
it.
of Fame.
You can't say that. He's
Sorry.
got one.
he's
Sorry.
definitely a Hall of Fame.
Don't mean to
but-
piss off the LGBTQ
okay.
members.
You are the LGBT.
All right.
But anyways, I get it. Everybody's always, when it comes to the Giants, everybody says O-line, 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 O-line. I don't think it's O-line. I don't think it's Daniel
I think
Jones.
that's definitely
When you're getting hit,
It's not Daniel Jones.
when you're getting hit 17 times a
I
game,
hope
you're
so.
gonna fumble. But my biggest thing I like about Daniel Jones is that he fights every time. He will
proven
he'll
himself.
throw an interception, go out there and throw that same ball with 100% confidence, and that's why I like him. He's not afraid. He runs the ball. He takes the hits. I think he was the right choice, but I think it's defense. Our defense has blown a lot of these
Other than
games for
Jabril
us.
Peppers, but
We contended with the Patriots the whole first half, and then our defense gave that all up, like every game this season. But yeah,
Imagine trying to
Oh,
stay
right.
relevant.
and then so the NFC North, okay, very good
I'll look after,
division.
bro.
In
I'll
week
just kill myself.
like 5, I think it was, all of them had like the same record or some stuff like that. So I'm gonna go with the Lions. I think Matt Stafford got hurt, and their offense is not there, and hasn't been there since Calvin Johnson
Agreed.
retired.
Um,
And
yeah, I like it's either Jeff Blow or Jared Blow. I forget his name. Blau, whatever his name is.
I don't know.
He's the quarterback right now.
I didn't know.
Yeah,
No idea.
I
He's-
watched it Thanksgiving Day, and I didn't really.
it was Blau. That's who played.
Yeah,
But I think Stafford getting hurt was upsetting. Kerryon Johnson getting hurt a lot.
yeah.
I like Kerryon Johnson a lot. But I think it's their defense. You take out Darius Slay, there's no names on that defense.
Oh, of course.
Except I think they have what's his name? Snacks. Damon
Okay.
Harrison,
Yeah, I mean,
former Giant, but he hasn't been performing.
I think that
So-
they are a decent team. Their backs is 8-8, and that's all I'm gonna say.
I kind of think it's Patricia's time is coming to an end too. If not this year, maybe next
I don't
year.
think he's that bad of a coach. I just
I
think
don't
that
either.
He hasn't pieced the roster fast enough for
But-
the Detroit Lions fans to recognize.
Yeah.
All right, so speaking of rosters, Packers, Vikings, and Bears all have big names, but we're gonna go with the Bears. I've said this before. When you have 8 of the top 10 players in your team on the defensive side of the ball, you can't win games. No, because you can have a great defense that stops, but when they're on the field every 5 minutes, they're going to
They
get
get
tired.
tired,
It might
yeah.
not be like Khalil Mack or like Aaron Hicks or Akeem Hicks, sorry, but he's been hurt a lot this year, so that's a big deal. That's a big problem. But I think that Thanksgiving Day and every game after, Trubisky has shown that he's a quarterback. But no matter what you say to me right now about Trubisky, it will always be over his head that he was picked before Watson and Mahomes.
You're
Take
right,
the
but
floor.
me personally, right?
Here comes the number.
I've been an
Trubisky's ass.
advocate for Trubisky. I've also advocated against him. The only thing I will say, Tariq Cohen's not a starting running back.
And then what?
He's not a starting running back. And you can argue, sure, maybe he is, but he's not.
I think he's decent. I don't
And
think he's.
you could be
decent.
yeah, he's decent. He's
He's
just
my
speed
fantasy
though.
running back. Watch your mouth,
Well,
woman.
he did nothing for you clearly since
You're
you
right.
lost.
I don't think
You lost
Trubisky's
his
However,
3 times.
However, I think the reason Mr. Trubisky is bad is because he's throwing 8 plays out of 10.
I think Matt Nagy's time is also coming.
I think he's also still improving as a quarterback,
Mm-hmm.
and like you said, up from about
Thanksgiving.
week 12 on, He's had really good games.
Yep.
Um,
Competitive too. It's not
Yep.
like they've been blown out. Some of they lost.
I
Yeah.
feel like he's like a bad fit.
and I
for the
still think they
Bears.
need receivers. Allen Robinson's a good receiver.
I think their core has
But-
shown, like I said, after Thanksgiving, I think their offense has been really good. But that Packers game, for example, they had it.
Yeah, and I think obviously the kicker is always going to be a problem for the Bears. It seems every
dude,
year.
If you're a Bears kicker, that's
It
got
seems
to
every
mentally
year.
be in your head.
But I think this team got too hot. I think it got hot late.
Yeah.
Because now they're starting to pick it up.
Because if you look
But
at
that division's already getting taken
these two
off.
last teams, Vikings and Packers, they both have, 10 wins?
They're 10-3. No, they're 11-3.
I think they're 11-3.
No,
yeah.
And
Packers are
Or they're
11-3.
10. Oh,
Vikings are
Vikings are
10-4.
I
4,
think
yeah.
the one problem with this Vikings team is Kirk Cousins doesn't like it when he's on primetime television. But outside of that, this roster here on paper is the best roster in football. They have guys on defense. They have one of the best receiving tight end running back cores, and you can't ignore that.
I'm not ignoring.
And I think Mike Zimmerman's a great coach,
Yep.
and I just think that this team is just when they're prime time, they just are different. Or not the whole team, just Cousins is different. But like if they're playing at 4 or a 1:00 game on a Sunday, they
Yeah,
can
I'm not-
win. But
not sure.
And they lost to the Chiefs. That was a competitive game. But other than that, I think primetime games kind of is a gray area with this team.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what it is with primetime and Kirk Cousins for whatever
They
reason.
don't get along, and they don't like
But
it. I don't like it.
the Vikings are my
don't
dark
wanna
horse
do
for
an
the
interview.
playoffs. I honestly think they're the team to beat, regardless of what record says.
I think playing them in a wild card game is a little unfair.
However, what's going to hurt the Vikings right now is the status of Dalvin Cook.
This
And
is true.
it's hurt them every year. This is the longest he went a whole 13, 14 games healthy. I think he got hurt week 14. He could have came back in, but chose not to. And then he gets re-hurt in week 15.
Yep.
And I know Alexander Madison was out last week. I don't know what he was out for.
Yeah, that's the one thing is that they
But-
don't have a running back right now.
It's going to be interesting to see how this running back core plays out for the
You can
Vikings.
always run a jet sweep with Stephon Diggs. He's got something
Because I think the running back core right now is going to determine really how this team comes out. And Adam Thielen's back. He was hurt
Which
for a
is a
little
plus.
bit. So,
I've always liked the Vikings and how they
They have a
Yeah.
good roster.
do.
Yeah,
And
go ahead.
you know, Kirk Cousins from being, a moderate quarterback to now proving himself. Obviously you need pieces to be a good quarterback. You need guys that can catch the ball,
Which he
run really
has.
good routes. And that's not what he really had in Washington. And now that you see him on the Vikings with Stephon Diggs,
Adam Thielen,
Kyle
Kyle Rudolph,
Kyle
Cook
Rudolph,
now
and then-
healthy, first season
uh,
healthy.
And I
fuck
think
was that? You having
sometimes
a
I
fucking
can't
stroke?
talk because Elliot just oh yeah, they got him.
I just heard a
I'm
fucking
just
stroke.
helping you.
I know.
stop swearing.
Stroke.
Stroke.
But I think that this is, the Vikings' year to come into the playoffs and show who they can be.
Mm-hmm.
And Dalvin Cook, if they don't have that piece, I don't think they're going to make it. But if they do have Dalvin Cook healthy,
You don't think they'll make it to the playoffs or far in the playoffs?
far in the playoffs.
Okay.
If Dalvin Cook isn't healthy, entering the playoffs, they're not going to last long.
All right. So speaking of not lasting long, it looks like they're playing the Packers.
Me and Ben.
First round.
I'm gonna take a break.
All right. No, sit back down. So Packers, they play that first round.
Yeah.
I think the one problem is inconsistency of their wide receivers.
The Packers?
I just think that sometimes.
Well, yeah, Devontae Adams is the only good wide receiver.
I just think that what they're doing is great, but they've also been great every year. And Aaron Rodgers, of course, is a great talent. He's got a great arm. The one weakness, though, I just think it's a new head coach. And
Connecticut won.
UConn?
Yep.
Good
Men's.
job. All right,
7-3.
sorry. All right, nice.
Sorry, man.
That's okay.
It's
We get
important.
excited.
It's important
We don't
to
get
know.
many wins out here. All right.
So,
But Packers, the one thing is that does scare me is that a new coach in the playoffs.
I think they're inconsistent as well.
I also think that their offense has
Uh,
holes at
I
times.
think
Yeah.
the Packers are a good playoff team, so I don't see them losing.
They
to the
do
Vikings.
when they
See-
do play in Lambeau Field. They aren't going to lose in the playoffs. It seems like. but-
so this Packers team is weird, right? So
Mhm.
they come out week 1. That defense looked insane.
Mhm.
Like they played the Bears, but that was a 12-4 team last year.
Correct.
They shut down the Bears. After that, their defense has fallen off.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they're still 11-3.
I picked
They're
them up
still
when
a
the
good
Ravens had a
team.
bye week.
Jerry Alexander has emerged as one of the better corners in the league. But I can't get convinced on the Packers. I don't know what it is.
And I'm sorry, Tyler and Ant,
But-
if that gets you mad.
Yeah,
It is what it is.
I don't know
Do
what
it!
I don't know what it is. Each team has something. I'm like, yeah, that could get them there. Yeah, that I can get them there. But
I just think that
Aaron Jones is great. Devontae Adams is great. Aaron Rodgers is great. But I just feel like they're missing something. But I don't know what that something is.
All right. Well, NFC West. Let's just quickly get the Cardinals out the way.
They have a great future.
Not now though.
Larry Fitz. I
I give it
quits.
I give it like three or 4 years.
Yep. I think Kyler Murray doesn't get appreciation because he's on the Cardinals.
We don't watch a bunch of Arizona games.
He looks a little.
Yeah, I don't watch a lot of Arizona
Yeah,
I
games.
think they need
Nice.
DBs.
He looks like a little taller when he
I think
runs.
that whole defense
I
is
don't
kind of.
think their DBs are good.
There's a bunch of
And-
holes there.
They're
there's-
probably in
Nobody
the hardest
called them.
division in football that they could
You
be
could
in.
say that.
Dolphins.
That's different though. Like the 3 out of those 4 teams are playoff teams. The Rams can still make the playoffs. They can.
The
They're-
Jets can't.
The Jets can't make it.
The Dolphins definitely can't.
The Dolphins can't make
Texans
it.
are.
I mean, you could argue
The Bills
the
only
AFC
got
South.
the Bills only got
Yeah.
good 2 years ago when Josh Allen got drafted. That's when they became a playoff team.
Speaking
When
of-
you look at this division, Seahawks are a playoff team every year.
and what's their weakness?
Seahawks?
Yes.
Well, hold on.
Oh, you're still not.
Niners-
I was gonna say management.
Niners are a playoff team for the years to come.
Yep.
The Rams won the Super Bowl last year.
Get
That's why
over
I
it,
think they're
man.
the hardest. You play
Due
six.
to a
You
pass
play
interference.
3 of the best teams in the NFL 6 times. That's hard.
Yeah.
No matter what team you are.
I mean, yeah.
But
I would say strength of schedule is their weakness. Also, they're 3 or 4 years away from it, like Carlos said.
yeah.
You want to take over the Rams there because the Patriots beat them in the
I
playoffs?
want
Or-
Seahawks.
What? You want to talk about Seahawks? Go ahead, talk about the Seahawks.
They're a very tricky team as well. They're pretty good overall as a team. Their defense isn't bad. Their offense isn't bad. They have an MVP candidate for the MVP.
Yep.
And
That was really weird. the way you said
yeah,
it.
yeah.
That'd be
To be honest,
I think they're just inconsistent. I mean, they have a great coach, Pete Carroll.
I think defense is their one problem. They don't have an identity.
I mean,
I was
I
going to
mean-
say
Hold
that.
on.
I was
Not-
going to say
Not in years past. Not in
No,
years past.
I know, but, like,
the
I think-
offense is the better part of the ball.
about that.
I can say
I think it's
I can
management
say
over.
that the offense does carry a little bit, but the defense doesn't. Like
It's not
like
dead.
they're trash. You know,
No,
It's
I'm
not
not
like they-
saying that.
like
But I'm
they
just
can't hold
saying
their own.
if I have to pick one weakness, it's
I-
not Russell Wilson.
If
I'm
I
just
have to
saying.
pick their
I need to
weakness,
say it's inconsistency.
I'm gonna say it's the receiving core. And here's why.
Okay.
You took the gamble on Josh Gordon.
Jesus Christ.
Now-
Huh?
you took the gamble on Josh Gordon,
All right. Sorry, my hearing was.
and now he's gone. That takes away that deep threat.
You still have DK Metcalf.
Okay,
Ooh,
I understand that.
Brother.
But now who's the next person to step up, right? Tyler Lockett.
DK Metcalf.
Great wide
2.0.
receiver. Shut up. Great wide receiver, but he's getting locked up now because teams know the ball's going to him.
Yep.
DK Metcalf, all he's good for is a Hail Mary.
He's a big dude.
All he's good for is a Hail Mary.
He's a big dude.
Chris Carson, great running back.
Big dude.
Rashad Penny's got a torn ACL. He's out for the rest of the season.
DK Metcalf.
Russell
big
Wilson,
dude.
he's getting the job done, but your quarterback can only do so much when you start playing these elite defenses.
I think that 49ers game is the perfect reason why this team is going to go to the NFC Championship game.
I don't know if they make it though.
DK Metcalf's
And-
a big dude.
To to counteract your defensive argument, the Seahawks they made all the right moves you need to make.
Yes.
You went and got Jadeveon Clowney, which you needed, and he's breaking out.
I'm not saying that they're not good. I just think that they're the weaker part of the ball.
I don't think they're really weak though.
I'm not saying
I
that.
I think they're the same.
Being the best team, tied for the best record in the NFC, you're not going to be a weak team. But if I had to pick one weakness, it would be the defense. I'm not saying they're weak. Like on a scale of 1 to 10,
No,
one
I
being
know-
the weakest,
I know what you're
it's
saying,
like a
but-
fucking 8.
I
Right,
feel like
on to
they're-
the next.
I feel like their defense is better than the receiving core.
All right. Speaking of defense, better than receiving core, 49ers. You could say that. I think their defense is
I
obviously
definitely
that
agree.
defense is
insane,
Insane.
top notch.
Yeah.
I
Fantasy
personally
pick up for
I
sure.
think they're a
season.
better defense than the Patriots. I'm going to throw that out there.
I agree.
However,
Uh-huh.
nobody is talking about Jimmy Garoppolo.
I don't think he's doing that great. But that's my
Trash.
opinion.
So hold on.
he's not trash.
Hold on.
That's different
I'm
from
joking.
last
So
year.
joking,
here's what
bro.
I'm saying. You're like he's not doing that. He's not doing good, right?
He's not doing that
He
great.
is 25-3 as an NFL starter.
Okay.
3 of those losses being this year.
Okay.
There's no here we go.
I'm joking.
You
Relax.
can't-
Calm
you
your
can't
fucking
knock the
calm
man.
your tits, dude.
Don't stop because you're gonna get me mad.
Don't stop.
Okay, I'm done talking about the 49ers.
Okay, my thing is with the
Big Max
49ers.
is huge.
Right. I lost
He's
my
a big
train of
guy.
thought, but he's not that good numbers wise. Of course, he is getting the job done, but when your defense and George Kittle literally is throwing every single human being shorter than him off, you can look up his stats all you want. What are you doing?
I just want to read this.
All right, you can say, hey, he's doing a good job, the 49ers, but of course, last year they lost without him. Go ahead.
3,445 passing yards,
Okay.
26 touchdowns,
Okay.
11 interceptions, 102.8 passer rating.
Is that his career or the season?
That's this season.
Okay. How many
His
is it?
career?
Yeah.
6,413 passing yards,
Okay.
43 touchdowns, 19 interceptions, 100.3 passer rating. That to me is Pro Bowl worthy.
I think it's decent.
I think that for how much money you did sign him, of course he's coming off an ACL tear. I think he's comeback player of the year, regardless of this conversation that we're having. But I just think that the defense is doing and George Kittle, literally doing a little bit of carrying. I just think that Garoppolo next year, I think he's gonna be way better than he is this year.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Absolutely.
because you, and here's where it is. Like the 49ers are another team that made every right move. You went and got Emmanuel Sanders.
Yes,
Which has
that
been
was
good.
I like that move. Don't get me wrong.
You have 3 running backs that at any point can go off. And what's his name? Shanahan knows how to
Oh,
use his running backs.
He's a smart coach. He's one of the better ones.
I think he's another
Just because he had
candidate for
coffee
Coach
with
of the Year.
Shane McVay,
But
but
again, I think Jimmy Garoppolo is still slept on.
he did say he was great, and Andrew and I ridiculed him because I don't think he's that good, and I apologize if that hurt you in any sort of type of way. But we do have 5 minutes before we take our break. The NFC South, Panthers, injuries.
Yep.
And firing the
Cam
coach.
Newton
Cam Newton.
Fire.
is trash.
I don't think.
I don't think he's trash. I think he's
Cam
He's
Newton
too,
is
way
wait,
too
wait.
injury prone.
What
Cam
was the
Newton-
record last year without him?
Cam
Or with
Newton. Cam Newton will never be to another Super Bowl.
him? Well, yeah.
God no.
He will
After
never
that
be to
fucking
another
mistake,
NFC. He will never be to another
I think
championship
old
game.
him is great. I think new him is not.
And I think any team that takes that risk with Cam Newton is
I
going to
think
regret it.
he's gonna look cute in a Chicago uniform next year.
However,
Jesus.
as far as the Panthers,
I saw that coming too.
Chris McCaffrey.
Yep.
That's all you can say. That's all there is.
Not a
Maybe-
weakness.
You can
he's
throw
there.
Luke Kuechly, but that's the team right there.
Christian
All right.
McCaffrey.
Bucks. Inconsistency on
the
the
Bucks. Giannis is fucking disgusting.
Buccaneers.
Okay, say that.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Buccaneers, defense. Defense.
I think Jameis
no.
Winston
Jameis-
is not even a great
Jameis
quarterback.
Winsteadius.
He's not
And
a great quarterback.
he's-
However,
Maybe
Hold on,
mediocre.
But,
that's
but,
Hold
but
on,
when you
hold on,
have
hold on,
him
hold on.
when you have him with
they have no running back. So literally, they have no running back.
Mike
They
Evans
have
is a
Peyton
tall
Barber
dude.
and Ronald Jones, and they're both trash.
but yeah,
Mike
what I,
Evans is
like
a tall
like I was
dude.
going to say,
He's a
you
nice
Two.
big guy.
you put him with Mike Evans, he's going to throw to Mike Evans.
Two.
Evans is a tall
Mike
dude.
Evans and Chris Godwin both got selected to the Pro Bowl.
Mike Evans is a
Both
tall
are
dude.
top 5 in yards on the
Mike
season.
Evans is a big dude.
Tall.
Big and
And what about Jameis?
I'm done talking about the Bucks.
Okay, on to the next.
All right. Falcons. I think that they're terrible.
I think
They're turning
rushed
up now, but
Their
they're
Defense.
way
Their
too
coaches needs to be out of there. Get
Yeah, I
over
think
it.
it's time
You
for
blew
Dan Quinn.
28-3.
I think it's time for Dan Quinn to go, but
Mhm.
the defense.
Yeah, I think their
That
defense.
offense-
Also, injuries I think hurt him a little bit.
Yeah,
But
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 that
not as
offense
much
is
as-
still good.
I think their defense.
I think
can't
maybe
stop
you look
run
for a
game.
different running back. I don't think Devonta Freeman's
is the answer.
performing like you wanted him to.
Agreed.
So
Saints, one of the best teams in the NFC. Question
Great
mark.
team.
I really
okay,
don't think there's any.
I don't think there's a weakness.
I do.
I think that
What?
people sleep on Drew Brees. I
Go
think
ahead.
The
he's
Saints
the best in the
can't
league.
get anything done in clutch moments.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is, I understand you can say they got screwed by the refs all you want.
2 years in a row.
I get it. You can say that all you want.
Get
But
over
at
it.
any
They're
point
dead.
before that, I think it was last year where like they had the chance to kick the field goal and they didn't. They went for it and they got like it would have tied the game and then they got that call and it was just a whole bunch of chaos. The Saints are just like the Packers to me. I can't get convinced
You're
that
not
they're going to the
convinced?
Super Bowl.
That makes sense. I can
And
see that.
They just acquired Janoris Jenkins, who I think will probably help them.
Hopefully.
But I don't know.
I don't see a weakness.
I think if the
other
Saints play an away game in the playoffs, they lose.
than- Oh, yeah, if you're not playing in the Dome, I don't know what their Dome is called.
I think,
But-
hear me out.
Yep.
I think if the Saints somehow play the Cowboys first round, Saints lose.
All right, well, that's a whole different topic. That
I
can
agree.
Get mad at.
It happened
That's
last year. They lost in AT&T Stadium when they were undefeated.
All
I'm
right.
honestly not too sure about that, but
Well,
They were like 10-0.
we're done
No, I'm
with
saying, like, Cowboys
every
Saints.
team's weakness.
We
Now
will
we're going to take like a little break and we're going to talk about our Pro Bowl stunts.